It's another episode of Made by Jay, where I make the things that I absolutely love to make in my home. And today we are making something that has changed my life. For the last couple of months, I have been cutting back on my meat consumption. So I've been playing around with veggies a lot more. So today we are making melanzane, which is an Italian dish using eggplant, aubergines. This is meat for vegetarians. It's got a beautiful flavor, but it's also so easy to get it wrong. And one of the things that I've learned with aubergines is that the bigger they are, the more possible they are to be bitter. So if you buy the baby brinjals or eggplants, they are less bitter, but obviously they don't have the meatiness of these ones. So we are making a veg lasagna with a very different twist, no pasta. When I make this, it goes in a flash. Only 3 components: grilling aubergine, grilling eggplant, making a kick-ass sauce, a tomato sugo, and cheese. So let's get straight into it. The longer you let tomatoes cook, the more flavor they really start to extract. So we're going into a pan with some olive oil. So we're gonna go into the pan and just saute these onions. A little bit of garlic as well. And we just fry that off for a couple of minutes until it becomes a little translucent. And then you're ready to get going. What you can also add at this point is some chili flakes. If you've got fresh chili, also works just as well. I love a little bit of heat in my food. We all do at my house. What's cool about this tomato, like Sugo recipes, that you can use it for so many different things. You know, like I love making this in batches, because if you, like we make pizza at home often, and a good tomato sugo jarred up in your fridge is so versatile, huh? All right, now we're gonna go in with some red wine, something that as home cooks, I think we do very innocently, and I think sometimes we also stress about it. Like we're like, what wine should I use? My mother always told me, like, use wine that you are willing to drink as well. And all that we're trying to do is cook off the alcohol and get that beautiful flavor that the wine has in there. You got to use your senses when cooking. It's not just about following a recipe. It's about using the senses that God gave you. So visually, with the onions, that's an important thing to look at. With the using of alcohol, whether it's beer, whiskey, brandy, wine, whatever it is, or gin, it's all about the senses, the nose, and smelling that off. So, yeah, maybe 5 minutes, but really just smell that alcohol. You get that big whiff of heavy alcohol, and then it's all of a sudden starts to disappear, and you start to get that smell of flavors that are coming through, not hindered by the alcohol. I'm gonna go in with my tomatoes. We've got tinned chopped tomatoes. Also, I think just like checking up on the quality of the tomatoes. For me, one thing that I learned as a home cook was you always want to balance it out because with a bit of sugar, because it is quite acidic. So we're going in with a little bit of caster sugar. And then in here, just to kind of amplify the heat a little bit more, a little bit of cayenne pepper. Stir. Last 2 things we're going to go in with a little bit of tomato paste, not only to enrich that tomato flavor, but also to get that deep red color that is also very visually appealing. Stir that in. And then the last flavor booster, a little bit of stock. This dish, really, in my opinion, it's a labor of love, because there's a lot of labor that you have to do to get this dish done. Like this, you have to slice up some aubergines. You can either do it lengthways. Lengthways gives you a little bit more space in the pan that you're going to be cooking it in. Thickness is quite important, that I've kind of learned in my days of making melanzane. You don't want to go too thick because it's going to take longer to cook, and you are grilling a lot of slices of melanzane. So let me slice these up quick. I go about 1 centimeter, if not even a little less. These are your pasta sheets. Flavor. While that is cooking away, while the sugo is cooking away, we are going to do the next labor of love, which is taking all these slices of aubergine and grilling them up. So I've got a kick-ass teppanyaki grill, which is a flat grill attachment for my stove. You could do this in a pan, in a grill pan. You could do this in the oven even. So you're gonna brush the olive oil onto the aubergines, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Oh, let's get them on. Sauce is looking great. Last thing to do is just to get in a little bit of fresh basil, and you can literally just tear it up roughly. And this just gives a lovely freshness to the sauce. Basil, tomatoes, best friend, as well as oregano. Now it's time to make the melanzane, right? So we're gonna layer. So you start off with a nice layer of tomato sugo at the bottom. And then you go in with your aubergines. And you layer them up however you want to layer them. And now we add our cheese. So we've got a little bit of mozzarella. And a little bit of parmesan. Oven is on at 180. Last little remainders of our tomato sugo, and then like you would end off any good old lasagna, bake cheese. All right, it's in 180 degrees, 40 minutes, and we should be good to eat. And the labor of love is done. Delicious, different melanzane a la J. Salad must always be present because it's quite a rich dish with all that cheese. That salad just gives it that light and freshness to it. This is a typical made by Jay dish. It's something that I love making. I definitely want you to try this. So make sure that you go and get the recipe for this on my website, jaysomething.com. And also drop me a comment below. Let me know what other things you would love for me to make for you to learn how to make. From me, peace.